Alright, so this is how it comes packaged. It comes packaged in this box here, and as you can see, it actually lists it as PT15B Pro. On the packaging here, it says the CRI is 90, is over 90, greater than or equal to 90, and of course they advertise it as being 95 plus, so a little discrepancy there. But alright, let's check it out. So inside comes with the instruction manual. We've got the light, and as you can see, it has the built-in diffuser. So also in the packaging is the cold shoe mount for attaching to the bottom of the light here. So make sure there's nothing else in the bottom before I take that away. Nope. Okay, so nothing else in there. Alright, so this is the light. Now, as you can see, maybe you can see, there are two different color LEDs in here. There's the 5600K LED and the 3200K LED. The 5600 is going to be more of a daylight, and the 3200 is going to be the softer, a little bit more orange light, and I'll actually show you that in just a minute. So now one thing to consider with this light is that it is a metal housing, so that will help to act as a heat sink to dissipate some of the heat from the LEDs. A lot of the cheap brands that I've seen for sale on Amazon and some other places, they're just plastic. And so for the price, this one was a little bit more expensive than the other two that I'm going to review as part of this series, but not by a whole lot, maybe a couple of dollars. So depending on the performance of this, I'm going to say that that would be definitely the way to go, because one of the things about LEDs is if they overheat, they can fail. So you definitely want to make sure that you've got something that's not going to overheat. So anyway, so the unit does not come with, as you notice here on the back, and this is all that it comes with in the packaging, the unit does not come with a battery. If you think about it, the NPF series batteries, depending on which specific battery you get, you know, they can be $10 to $15, ranging all the way up to $40 to $50, depending, like I said, depending on the amp hours of the milliamp hours of the battery. So to get in at this price point, they don't include the battery. The other thing that it does include is an AC adapter port. So if you have an AC adapter that fits this, you can use that, so you don't have to worry about batteries. But I do like having the flexibility of being able to use a battery in case I want to take the camera out someplace and film, you know, where I don't have access to power. So this is nice. The one thing I would have liked to have seen is that even some of the less expensive models actually have where this particular socket, battery socket, is removable and they take AA batteries. That would have been a nice feature for this, but you know, looking at how thin this is, you know, this is made for portability and weight, so there's really no room in this housing to have those, but you know, that would have been a nice feature to have. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use, I have an NPF 750 battery here that is by Wasabi Power. I'm a big fan of Wasabi Power products. I actually purchased a number of those for actually the camera that I'm filming with right now, Canon 70D. So I bought the Wasabi Power package that comes with two of these NPF 750 batteries and the charger from Amazon, and I want to say it was about $30, maybe a little bit more, maybe $35, but I wanted to go with these because the amp hours on this is 4900, and different manufacturers will rate their batteries at different amp hours. Like I've seen some of these that were 750s that were rated at like 5200 milliamp hours, and that basically just gives you an indication of how long it's going to last. It's going to put out 7.2 volts, and that basically is the storage pool of power that it can put out at 7.2 volts. So the higher that number, bottom line is, the longer the battery is going to last for you. So to attach the battery, basically find the connections here, drop it in there, give it a little push, and there it is. So now on the back, you've got the power, and this is a press and hold to turn the power on. I'll show you that. You just press it and hold. So right here, it's currently set at 20%. So if you change this button, that's the mode button, that actually tells you how much of the 3200K and how much of the 5600K lights are in. If you decrease this down to 3200K, so that's the 32, and go all the way up to the 56, that's the 5600K. And like I said, I'll show you that in a minute. So if you go back to here, this is the percentage of the power that it's currently putting out. So obviously you can see the individual lights here. So you can see the individual LEDs, and what I'll do is I will turn this and I will change to where you can actually see the other LEDs starting to come in. Can you see that? There you go. So now you can see these other LEDs. And you see it switches over as I go back. Now, keep in mind, this is only at 20% power, so I'm going to just turn that up, just to give you an idea, shine it in your face, how bright this light is. So we'll cranking that all the way up. That is 99, which is the maximum. So to point this down at the bottom here, you can see how washed out that gets because it's so much light. I'm going to go ahead and lower it so that you can actually see it. Now I'm down to 10%. So I'll move it away, move it back in so you can see. You can actually see how much power it puts out. I'll do an image of something here in a second so you can actually see the differences in the brightness. So to remove the battery, basically turn the unit off, just give it a little push, battery comes off, just like that. Now I like that they included a cold shoe mount because you can put this on top of your camera, so if you're doing an interview or if you're filming a performance or something like that, you can just mount this right on top of your camera. Basically just turn that to mount it right on the bottom. You can adjust this for like bouncing off a ceiling, bouncing off, at a 45 or straight on at your subject. Tighten that down. These are pretty inexpensive. You can buy these pretty much anywhere, but it's nice that they included that. So that's pretty much it. I'll do an actual demonstration of the unit here in just a minute. So this Tolifo unit, the manufacturer lists it as 15 plus 15 watts, and the reason why is because each of the two different color temperature sets of LEDs are listed as 15 watts, so it's 15 watts at 3200K, 15 watts at 5600K. So if you try to use them both at the same time, obviously it's going to be splitting half power to each one, so you're only going to get 7.5 watts, so you're still only going to get 15 watts output power. The CRI, again listed on the package, is 90%. They list the luminous flux as 1500 lumens. As my first practical demonstration for the PT15B Pro light, I've turned off 2 of my 3 DIY lights that I use for this setup. Basically, I'm using shop light clamp light bulb holders with daylight LED lights. Light bulbs. They're roughly 100 watt equivalent light bulbs, and so I have 3 of those that I use when I'm doing videos like this one. So what I've done is I've just left on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the PT15B, I'm going to add a battery to it, and I'm going to turn it on just on the daylight because that's going to be the best comparison to this light, and should give you an idea what it's going to look like at roughly the same distance. I'll also pull it back because as I found with these lights is they're really directional even with diffusing. So just to try and give a better idea of what they look like. So I'm going to turn on the Tolifo light, make sure that it is currently set to 5600K, which it is. I'm going to turn it all the way up to maximum intensity. Now, for demonstration purposes, this is the DIY light. I'm going to turn that off. And now this is the Tolifo light at roughly the same place. You can kind of see it's a little bit directional, focused toward the center. If I move it in a little bit, you can get a better idea. It's pretty much focused right in the center on top of the box. You can see I'm kind of moving it in with my hands. And I pull it back a little bit. It's still quite bright. It is a little bit dimmer, does seem to be a little bit dimmer than the 100 watt equivalent bulb, which I believe, like I said, I believe that's a 15 watt. But you know, the practical demonstration here in just a minute of a photography or videography subject will give us a little bit better indication of how that's going to look. So if you like this video, click that subscribe button down there, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down in the comments section below. Let me know if you've got this light or something similar, or if you're looking for a light, or if you just have questions about it. Let me know in the comments. If you're a DIYer like I am, and you've got some tips for a system like the way I've got mine set up, you've got questions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can address your questions. And thanks a lot.